Hi everyone, hope you're all well and thank you all for joining us tonight on our live with Patti Negri to talk about the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah.
We would also like to welcome Patti back onto the panel. We absolutely love having you here with us. And
Thank
we're
you.
quite happy that we're getting to have a little chat to yourselves tonight without the boss man that isn't feeling very well. So we hope you feel better soon, Scott. You will be missed, I'm sure. So, Patti, as you know, just now the Cecil Hotel is very well publicised for a number of reasons.
Yes.
With the death rate, the suicide rate, and everything else that's going on. What was your initial thought when you first stepped into that building?
Well, I'll just even tell you the whole story, how it happened. When on the show, for the years I've been working with Zach and the guys, Zach always really does want me in the dark, like literally and figuratively, not knowing where I'm going, though I don't know the history of the place or anything like that. He had called me a couple weeks before and he said, Patti, we're going to be in LA and I'm going to call you for something. I'm like, okay, didn't hear anything. And then one day I got a call from him and it's like, we're downtown LA. Can you be here in 2 hours? So my first thought is like, ooh, did I wash my hair today? Do I have time to put on makeup? All those girl thoughts, not where am I going? And he gave me a downtown address. I think he might have whispered on his breath where it was. But I get there and I'm like, oh yeah, the Cecil. And I'm kind of going, all I knew, didn't even know any of the history of the serial killers living there or all the suicides or deaths. But it was just like, oh yeah, girl in the water tower, elevator, people drank her for 2 weeks. I got that. So that's all it was. So I parked and it's kind of like Skid Row downtown. It's not a great area. But there's like beautiful buildings too. I just did a clearing. That's another story for after. Literally across the street, a beautiful old building. Everybody's moving into the lofts, high and gorgeous, but you like step over people to get in. It's a weird area, a lot of energy. But so I parked my car and I'm walking up to the Cecil and I'm thinking, oh, that's that place. And I know no one had ever really let people film there before, or especially paranormal investigations. So I'm walking up and this telltale sign, this rat wouldn't let me in. A big old rat. I'm not afraid of rats. I'd go right, the rat would go right. I would go left, the rat would go left. We're dancing in Main Street in downtown LA. I'm like, okay, dude, rat, you got to let me in as we're dancing. I've never seen anything like it. So I'm like, I am coming through. I'm not going to step on you. Just move away. So I got in. Oh my God, ladies, the building starts coming in on you immediately. You feel this, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and the vibration of it is just like, holy moly. And I start literally going into a trance state right away. I'm just like, I like you're at sea and you've got sea legs and it's coming in at you. And then all of a sudden there's Zach and the guys and they've all got their cameras strapped on and he's like, okay, hi, Patti. I'm like, hi. And he goes, okay, there's 700 rooms and there's 14 floors. You tell us where to go. It's like, oh, good. Okay. And I pushed whatever on the elevator and we got in the elevator and I felt that elevator like, oh yeah. Oh, this is weird. And I led him to a first room. We had a bunch of stuff that isn't on there in a hallway. I hope it turns out, I hope they do another episode or an extras episode, one of those, because it wasn't as dark. So to fit everything else of the show. But it was dark, but it was some really interesting conversation with spirits and Billy. So, but I led him to a room, again, and I'm getting deeper and deeper in a trance state. So we go in and there's no furniture. There's one little chair because their rooms are being renovated. They're tiny rooms, even though it was built to be a fancy hotel. Get back almost 100 years ago, they made rooms really little, beds little, everything little. So I walk in and I'm just thinking to myself, I got to get out of here. And I walk up to the window. I'm going, I got to get out of here. And I'm opening the window. I'm not thinking. And Zach starts yelling at me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just got to open the window. I got to get, he's like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And I, in my half trance state, I'm going, why is he yelling at me? He's never yelled at me before. I'm just kind of a trance. What is this? And he's like, Patti, close the windows, sit down. And much more. I don't know if you guys saw the episode. This is a total spoiler alert, by the way, for my section.
No,
but not for the There's a lot of stuff. But I'm like, why he's never yelled at me? And again, they cut out the really. I'm like, so sit down, Patti, sit down. So I sat down. I'm like, I just have to get out of here. And then this ghost ended up on my hand, all this stuff. I had no idea that I had led them into a room where somebody had jumped out that exact window. So he thought it was just being, channeling that I was just being possessed by this and I was going out the window. Maybe I would have. I just pictured how awkward that could have been, me halfway out and him grabbing me by the feet or something. But that's why he was yelling at me. And I guess that shows on camera and stuff, but I'm just like, why? I got to get out of here. And so then we left. And then again, we did a bunch of other things. And then I led him to another room. Same thing. I walk in, and I start feeling attacked. And I always have to kind of decipher, but I'm being attacked. So, I couldn't find a way to get out. Don't go there. Don't go there. And I start covering myself. I look like a little kid who had to go to the bathroom, covering yourself down there.
That's right.
Don't go there. I got to get out. And Zach's like, where are you being attacked? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, where are they attacking you? And the part of me who's still conscious is going, how do you even say that body part on television? The
lady parts, wasn't it?
That's what I said, like lady parts, female. That's all I said. And I had no idea. I had led him into a room where sadly a woman had been raped and murdered, a lady who lived there. She used to feed the birds. It's like so sad. And it's so trippy. I mean, I've been channeling people since I was, 7 or 8 years old. But it's so weird to go, but usually mine are, my home ones are controlled. Stop that volume off. Or let's talk to grandma. Let's talk to your spirit guides, not these crazy things that go on. So when you're having somebody take over your body. So that's a trippy place. I have never been anywhere like it. Honestly, there's just, so much has happened there. I don't know, if Richard Ramirez and the serial killers went there, they were drawn there by the energy, or they knew the stuff that had happened there and it turned them bad. I think it's a little bit of everything back and forth. I didn't even get up on the roof where the Alyssa Lamb was. I wanted to go up there. I was so drawn up there, but filming, they didn't have the police fire department there right then, so we couldn't go out on the roof right then. So, but holy moly, you guys, just walking by, you feel it.
Wow. I'm just going to pop on and say hello to a few people in the chat while we've got a wee pause. So hi Sarah, Charlie and Rox. Hi guys, hope you're well. Donna French and Andy Murphy. Nice to see you, Andy. Penny Lawton, nice of you to join us. Hope you're all well, guys, and hope you're enjoying so far.
Brilliant. So what I was going to ask is, do you feel that there is something negative there feeding on people's emotions and their vulnerability?
Yep.
When they check into the Cecil Hotel. Yep.
Again, and maybe when it was a fancy hotel, and then it's always a lot been like a flop house, not fancy hotel, and drugs and all that. Yes, there was something there, because I talked to, again, the part of it. Yes, we'll get to the Andy question. Good question, Andy. But yes, I do feel, what I felt was there was a lot of human spirits there, and a lot of them were stuck there. And they were being held down by something that wasn't human. They were being held by something demonic, or something that was so created, egregore, something so created that held them captive and fed off the evil, fed off making them do bad things, kill people, kill themselves, throw their baby over the window. I mean, horrid things.
That's horrible. It seems like a kind of wash machine, a constant cycle of bad things happening, which at the Cecil.
So I do think that there is some non-ghost, some entity much stronger than that is keeping them there. I also think, I don't know the history of the land. It's downtown LA. I don't know. We have a lot of Native American ground, a lot of Indian ground, but it's very charged area. Maybe that's even why downtown kind of got centered there, because every area has its little energies and portals and vibrations and things. So there's something on the ground there. That's why when I just cleared somebody else's house the other day, I put extra protections in that it just didn't come up from the street level. Come up, because that goes deep at the Cecil. It goes deep, more than just the building that's been there almost 100 years. So Andy, yes. Good question. The fear from Skid Row area feeds the energy of the hotel. Everything feeds, and everything negative feeds the energy of the hotel. And sadly, the Skid Row being right there, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of alcohol abuse, of course, people, and mental stuff. The things that really let in the darkness in all my experience of all my years doing this are severe bad drug use will open up portals that are the hardest to close. Yeah. So we're in the midst of it. So it totally feeds it. And their sadness, their desperation is a strong energy. And it vibrates like a scent. It vibrates like, and it's going to get that. If that place would need a really deep clearing, like every shaman, psychic, medium, witch in the world, we'd all have to bombard it at the same time.
Yeah. It's so big.
It's
so fun. So Laura wrote, if the building went for, sorry,
there you go.
Oh, they're fast.
If the building went for whatever reason, would that free them?
I don't know. I think it could certainly help, but if it goes deep into the land, which I do think it goes into the land, the land would need clearing too. I work elementally. There's lots of great ways to clear a space, and they're all good and beautiful. Some people work, with deities and gods and energies and light. I work very much the elements, air and fire and water and earth. I'm an elemental witch. But we would have to go deep into theirs. We would have to beat the bounds and claim what this is. We'd claim it for goodness, claim it for light, claim it for whatever. And we'd probably take a lot of work to do, even if they razz the building. And now it's pretty much closed for renovation. I don't know what they're going to plan to bring into it, because even if they make it to a fancy place, like the place across the street they're taking these old buildings. But whoever moves into it, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. So, I think the best thing they could do is this is a scary, dark, haunted hotel. Come all you paranormal crazy people.
Yeah. I think it would get
locks on the windows. You can't jump out the windows. You can't get to the water tower and kill yourself. Put precautions like you're on a roller coaster.
Penny's saying that she watched the Cecil episode last night. So much happened. She needs to rewatch to catch it all. It was very crazy.
Yeah. It was, and they were there. I think they were there 4 or 5 days. I was there 2 nights. I was there 2 days. And again, because things get pushed, but there was so much going on. Again, we had amazing stuff happen that didn't even make it in the 2-hour special. So I hope it comes out. But you walk in, it's like you're in a 3-ring circus. This is happening and that is happening. This is the elevator over here and the lobby is over here and the energy and the ghost. And it's dark.
So
I can imagine for someone like you. Sorry, Forrest, did you go?
I was just going to ask Patti how you feel when you walk into a place like the Cecil and it's so crowded and you've got all these energies trying to say things and tell you things. How do you cope with that? Do you have to take yourself out and walk out and just have a bit of fresh air, or is there a different way that you communicate to them?
Yes, all of the above. I do have an on-off switch. Of course, when you're doing something like Ghost Adventures, you leave it on, and I'm well trained. It's one of those like, don't jump in the deep into the pool if you don't know how to swim. I know how to swim. I know I will let dark spirits take over me, and I know I'm not going to take them home. But I do so many protection methods. The whole team does. They all have their own. How I use with oils, how I use with symbols and sigils. I always wear like a helm of awe. I always have, the biggest portal on your body is right where your head and neck come together. That I always put super protection on. Yeah, that's your big. You have portals everywhere, but that's the big one. That's why when you pray, you bow your head.
Bow your head.
God for spirit. So I always put protection right there. So if it's going to, again, I'm going to have some control. And even if I do let a spirit take over me, it's like this % of me. You're not going to keep me. You can have me for this long. And I've got to keep some semblance, this 25% of myself, so I don't jump out a window,
Yeah. And do you have to reduce your energy the next sort of few hours? Do you find yourself?
Yeah. And often the next day, just keep bringing it? I always call it ritual hangover or investigation hangover or spell work hangover. It uses your energy. So it's like the next day you feel like you've been drinking or something, even if you haven't been drinking. It's like, yeah, I got to sleep in today. There's ways to build your energy because spirits, you guys know, because you're in this world, they use energy. They drain your phone battery. They drain your cameras. They drain the batteries on your EMF meters. The big fancy cameras on TV shows, they drain the batteries. They drain us. We are batteries for spirit, good spirits and bad spirits. So they're using us like a battery.
Another question for Laura. Did you manage to help her release any of them while you were there? Must be hard.
It is hard walking away. I did not get to release one again because you're on very much a time schedule, and then we're going over here. Woo, we're going over here. But there was this one again. That's why I hope this sweet spirit that loved Billy. I saw the thing holding him down, and I'm like, he's right here. And they showed it on the SLS camera. He's right here. I'm like, no. And even on the book, it said Billy. Billy, I go, he loves you, Billy. And Billy's like, oh my God, I was just here at like last night or an hour ago, whatever. I was just here and I saw a spirit and I was talking to a spirit because they're all super gifted anymore. It's open. Yeah. So yeah, and I didn't get to cross him over, but we got to soothe him and talk to him and recognize him. He wanted to be recognized. He wanted to be seen. So we got to do that. We didn't get to go to the light, Carol Ann, go to the light. We didn't quite get to do that. It just,
Scott's asking, sorry, Patti, Scott's asking, did you pick up on anything outside the hotel?
Besides the possessed rats? No, you feel the energy. You park, again, it is downtown crazy. It is by Skid Row crazy. And it's also big and beautiful. Everything is heightened there. So again, that's why I think the vortex goes into the earth below. Yeah. So I picked up, again, I'm walking in, it's just like bombarded, like, oh, Cecil, my left side, my logical brain's going, oh, that's the girl with the girl. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. But, yeah, you feel it out the ground. You just walking by the hotel, I would say, unless you're just so asleep at the wheel, you're so phoned in, you're not paying attention. If anybody just walking down the street, they would go, this feels weird. Just, you've all got
just so forbidden.
This is weird, or this feels good. We feel it. We feel it.
Now, when we watched Ghost Adventures, I don't want to kind of spoil it for any of the viewers that's not watched it, but on one of the floors you felt this really oppressive energy, and I think Zach and the crew managed to capture an image or something that looked the figure of a man. Was that the same kind of energy as you picked up on? I don't know if you can remember that.
I can't remember. I don't. When I go into this state, I really am half in a trance state. I allow it. So it's, even when I see it on TV, I'm like, I don't remember any of that. It's like a dream state. Remember when you're trying to remember a dream, like, I think I was here and I was with my high school friends. Some things I remember when my left brain, logical brain can take over. I go, oh yeah, I remember I took him to the whatever floor. I took him I remember I wasn't allowed to go to the roof. I remember, but with the channeling stuff, the trance stuff, it's like it's trying to remember a dream. So I don't remember what floor numbers I pushed. I just, that's where the faith comes in. You just have to trust spirit. Otherwise I'd be like 700 rooms. I don't know. And to take them to the right ones. It's like faith.
Donna's asking, if your average person with no gifts went to the hotel, do you think they would possibly feel anything with the energy being so strong?
Yes, I completely think an average person, even walking by the hotel, and if you went there to stay there, again, it's been kind of a real low budget one for a long time. I think you would feel icky there. You would feel it. And I do know I actually know, because I'm in LA, I know a couple of people who have stayed there or short-term stay there, came to LA, try to do what you do in LA, and you're on a budget. So that's the kind of place you end up. Yeah. And everybody I know who stayed there said, yeah, you feel it. That's why it's so funny that they tried to change the name, but they can't erase this hotel because it's a historic monument now. They can't erase the big sign that says the Cecil Hotel, even though they were calling it Main, stay on Main or things like that. You can't erase it, even if they could erase the sign.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think average people who don't, I think everybody has a gift, but we just shut it down. But I think a person who doesn't think they do, I think you would feel it. You walk into the lobby, and it was a beautiful lobby like marble, and you'd go, oh, this feels good. No, it doesn't. It just starts coming in on you.
One of our viewers here thinks that Amy Price, the manager, is very suspect in their opinion.
Well, I would say they are, I don't know. I didn't even get to meet that person, but I would say anybody who works there or lives there, you're going to be influenced by what's there.
Yeah.
You know, even if I'm this good and loving and light person, you're going to start being influenced.
That's it. It's like oppressive, isn't it? And especially if something is oppressive like that, it is going to affect you darker. So it's
good questions, you guys.
Brilliant.
Someone else is asking, Laura's asking, do you think if it's the building or whatever's holding the building, does it have more influence in the main area, stairs, lifts, or in rooms with individuals?
Oh, we went to many floors and it's like, you know, everyone has its different energy, and some stronger than others. Some I just avoided floors altogether. Some I like, ooh, this hall, you feel it. Just like if you drive through, you know, a section of a store, or you drive through, this town feels like that town feels like this. Every floor had different energies. Hallways, ends of hallways seemed to gather energy, which I think maybe the energy went down and kind of circled around. At the end of a hall, that things kind of balled up. The elevators, the lifts, as you guys call them, hell yes. No wonder
they got a bit strange
like this, you know. Yes. The lifts, it's weird. And and the materials in it and everything just, it's like you're in a dream, and not a good dream.
Like something just doesn't sit right with it.
Something doesn't sit right. But stairways, yes, I did take a few stairways, not very many though, because we'd go to those crazy elevators and go up and down and say, let's go here or let's go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and every floor felt different. Just like when you're in a department store, the clothing floor feels different than the furniture floor feels different than the, housewares floor. It was like that.
Was there any particular area that you went to that you instantly thought, oh no, I don't like this, I need to get out from this area?
Well, yeah, the two that they actually ended up showing, because they were the strongest, the one that when I have to get out, even if it meant jumping out of a window.
You didn't look like yourself in that, to be fair. You looked quite frightened, which is unusual for you, because you're usually there and you just do what you've got to do. But
I was being that person. There was a desperation there. You
could see it affecting you.
Yeah. So yeah, those two places, again, those were I was the most affected in the negative, strong, oh my God, overwhelming me way.
Yeah.
Was there any more energies that you picked up on, Patti, and any of the other kind of locations that you went to, other than the two that you've just mentioned?
Again, I wish they would show me a video of it and then I would remember. No, I remember taking them to a lot of different hallways. And again, like I said, the end of hallways, things gather up like a crowded street that backs up at the circle.
Yeah, I remember that.
We went to a lot of them, and then I would literally go in circles, or there's something here, or there's something there. There was a lot of stuff right where the elevator or the lifts open to, that little, like there's always a lobby, kind of not a lobby, but a little, that was always real powerful because there's like some mirrors and stuff there too. It's going to enhance things.
All right. Because I think that's where I was trying to get to earlier on when you were at the end of the corridor, and you could feel that. You could feel it all kind of stirring up. I remember watching that. I watched the Cecil, the Ghost Adventurers one. So that's why I was asking. But I couldn't begin to imagine what it would be like in there. I don't think I would even go past the first floor.
That's because you're in those elevators.
I would make it.
Yeah.
I think I would be the one that would check in for the hourly rate and then disappear again.
You wouldn't get me in the lift.
And if you look at it, I don't know if you could see it. It was weird because again, I'm half trance state. It's like the elevators, when the doors would open or close, was kind of on their own. Not, usually, okay, you push the button and then it closes. You push the button and then it opens. These had their own mind when they wanted to open and close.
Yeah. I have seen that. Actually, they did. They didn't just close when you pressed the button. They would just wait.
Sometimes they would wait. Sometimes it'd be slow.
Yeah.
Sometimes fast. Sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes it fast.
I think I've read somewhere. Sorry,
Scott's asking, do you think that a building with such energy would attract spirits like Richard Ramirez?
Yes, I do. Again, dark begets dark. Just like light begets light, brings in people gather at light places. People gather. He probably didn't know. I would say it drew him in and it fed him in his evilness. I would say, if he's looking for a cheap downtown hotel, dark spirit would lead him there. And then it would feed him and he would feed it and bring out all his worst attributes and vice versa. It would totally attract spirits like Ramirez. He's horrible. He's going to kill a bunch of people. Bring him in. Because it wants to screw with the people. That dark energy really wants to screw with the people there. I think the other serial killer, the German guy, he went on purpose because he knew Ramirez lived there. So he also, the darkness was like, oh yeah, I want to step into that evilness. But so he probably knew what it was.
And I think he was quite smart in the way he done it as well, because he came over as a journalist, and premeditated what he was going to do.
Yeah.
It's like he was trying to be Ramirez, like number 2 sort of thing. He was trying to like base himself on Ramirez.
Yeah.
It's
something to aspire to.
It baffles me, so it does. It's just, it seems to have some sort of pull, doesn't it?
Sorry, Forrest.
Right.
Forrest is trying to speak.
Cutting in. When we watch Ghost Adventures and all these programs, we're always shown the sort of dark, dramatic spirits that have been contacted or creepy things. But you being you, Patti, do you also have just as many good experiences, and do you pick up on happy memories or happy feelings that we don't get to
so many. Yes, because there is more good spirits than bad. There are more good people than bad. It just doesn't make for as good of TV. In my day-to-day life, even when I do clearings at homes, at businesses, at hotels, it's not all bad spirits by any means. It usually isn't. It's just like, they're having too much activity. And there's a bunch of, where I live in Hollywood, there's a bunch of really good haunted places. Yes, they'll have their bad stuff, like the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, like the ghost of Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, she does.
In the bedroom.
Yeah, yes. And I've seen her by the pool. And like the chiffon beach cover up, pool cover up. And that hotel plays against it. One thing I have noticed doing this my whole life is big in life, big in death, small in life, small in death. The quiet banker in life is the quiet ghost. If you're a serial killer or a movie star or a sports star, you're big in life, you're big in death. So that's why, and nobody wants to, I think people really would like a show where it's good ghosts and interacting with them. But so far, TV always leads. We like to watch the scary news, not the good news. They're not, news shows aren't like, let's see the good things that happened today. We're just silly that way.
I know.
Yeah,
it's a shame that, because actually it is good to see the heartwarming stories that some spirits come through and tell and link up, and they kind of get closure, because they're coming through to give a message. They're coming through because they need something answered, and to be able to answer that question for spirit and put them at ease, that I would like to watch that. So
I would
it's just a shame.
I would too. Maybe one day we'll have that. I would like to have. That's the good spirits and what they bring. Bye.
Start something. Uslot, come on.
Yeah, we could start something.
Well, I'm starting a network, and so we're going to put on good stuff too. With Paraflix, I'm launching a SVOD, streaming video on demand network. It's going to be like Netflix of the paranormal. And yes, we're going to have the story stuff that people love, but we're going to have good stuff and educational stuff and spiritual stuff and horror films. We're going to have it all.
That would be good.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
So, what's your thoughts on the theory of the Chinese left game of pressing certain numbers to conjure up a supposed woman spirit?
I had never heard of that before, but it certainly makes sense. Asian cultures, they're much more mystical than ours, light and dark. Our Western, you guys, us, English-speaking humans, we're not very mystical very much. You guys, where you are more than in America, even we've taken the mysticism and magic even out of our religion. Asian cultures don't. They keep that mysticism and talking to dead people. So, and again, things tend to dark. So I'm sure that I don't know if she was playing that game. I think if I had to guess, I would think no. I think she was just trying to get away from something. And a little crazy at that moment. Not like I'm playing a game, let's see if I get a spirit. She didn't look like she was like, when we go on an investigation, let's see what's bad. But I do think that game, if you believe it and you put your passion into it, you probably could do it. It's probably real.
It seemed to me like she was pressing the buttons to confuse whoever it was that she thought was coming after her. That's kind of impression I was getting at the end up.
Yeah, it wasn't like, let's play a game to break up a spirit. No. Because it would have because she was already being possessed, so she would have already had the spirit before she played the game. So no.
Interesting. Oh, good, it's still there. So what I was thinking, the Black Dahlia was reported of being at the Cecil Hotel previous to losing her life. What's your thoughts? What do you think of the Black Dahlia's case?
Oh yeah, that is what the other darkest place I've ever been. I did a ghost adventures for the Black Dahlia, did a seance with Zach and the guys, and I did a different TV show before that where I did a seance. Again, at that point, before I'd been to the Cecil Hotel, it was like the darkest place I'd ever been. I remember that first TV show, it wasn't a regular paranormal show, so they didn't know that cameras are going to get drained. And they set up the snacks, it's called craft service, in that basement, the dirt basement where that guy had tortured people. I'm like, don't you guys feel this energy? But I went upstairs and something literally threw me into a wall. Like, oh, it is the Dr. George Hodel. He got away with it. He died, but he's evil. So, and we actually and we didn't get to cross over Elizabeth Short, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Evil and darkness. Maybe she met that George Hodel there. Maybe, again, evil and darkness takes over. It gets on you and stuck on you. When we did the seance at the Black Dahlia house, we actually did cross over one of the spirits. You didn't get to see it on TV, sadly, because it doesn't go with the style of the show. But Fauna Hodel, who was there with us, she was the granddaughter and probable daughter of Dr. Hodel, because there was incest and all this stuff. But she had promised her mother, Tamar, who was the daughter, who had the baby and given away, blah, 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 that her mother had talked to a spirit of a girl there, and she promised she would help her. So, and Tamara was waiting to die on her deathbed. But she said, Fauna, go help this girl. So in doing the seance, the girl came in. We literally did that. Go to the light with Zach, with Aaron, with the whole, we crossed over this beautiful spirit. We felt it. We saw it. It was this beautiful moment of light. And that's it. You, again, don't get to see it on camera, but it happened. But that Dr. Joe, he's holding the other women there. That Hodel, he's horrible. And he came to my house once, and I was doing a seance. I broke my own rules. I broke my own rules of not setting my space, my guardians, opening my Ouija board right, and we were going to do a crime thing. I had Associated Press, so my producer and I at the time just wanted to do it, and I got lazy. and we were going to do something on the Black Dahlia. So all of a sudden, the Ouija board, instead of her friend, I got pushed up against the back of my own dining room chair. And my house is warded. Up against a chair, I hear this crack, crack, crack. I'm sliding down to the floor. And my friend's going, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, And I always say I'm all right. It's like, I could have my arm cut off. I'm fine. It's a flesh wound. No, it's good. I'm like, I slid to the ground. I actually had to go to urgent care. This spirit, the George Hotel, pushed me so hard. I thought he broke my ribs, but he actually ripped all the cartilage off my floating ribs in my own house.
That's a strong spirit.
Yeah. Evil, dark spirit.
Scott's saying that, Patti, you visited several rooms. What room would you say had the most atmosphere or energy?
I think the lady, the bird lady who was raped and murdered, there was so much, her fear, her terror, her can't get away, just took over that room. I would say that was where it was most focused in one, because the rooms are little. That one little room, so much horror happening.
Yeah.
So when
It
you
was
went,
the worst thing.
when you went to the hotel with the Ghost Adventures crew, was that your first time there?
Yeah, that was my first time there. That was, again,
Wow, what an introduction.
Yeah, again, and I didn't know I was going to, and yeah, and I didn't research, I didn't do anything. I just showed up and had to get past rats to get in. It was my first time there, because honestly, the little bit I've heard of it, and I know lots of paranormal investigators, of course, people who've tried to get in. For all these years, the hotel would not, if they saw somebody with a camera, they'd take it away. If somebody asks specifically for one of those haunted rooms, they wouldn't give it to them. They did not want to play into that. And Zach, literally, he said he tried for 10 years. It took him 10 years to get in that hotel, and I think a lot of money. And probably had the pandemic not happened and everything going on, they probably never still would have done it. That's why when he says it's the first and last that will ever really be allowed there as far as paranormal investigation.
No. So if you
would you ever?
Would I go back? I would go back. I like a challenge. I'm weird that way. Again, I would do all my wards and protections. I didn't hear that.
So what would you like to focus on if you went there again? Would you focus on a particular room, a particular story of a person? What would you, as Patti, really want to get into?
Yeah, if I went in and it didn't matter, like where there has to be a crew following me around, I would definitely want to go up to the roof. I want to go up to the roof. I want to feel that, see what led her. I would like to go to Alyssa, her room. I don't know which one. I would like to feel that. I would like to see if I could tune into what happened.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
I think so. Cool.
Laura again. Laura's doing great with the questions tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks, Laura. Some great questions coming from you there.
Why do you think it's keeping them? What's the purpose? Can you tell their end goal might be a personal for the demonic energy? I think the dark demonic energy is keeping them there to torture any real humans, the living humans that go there, and then torture the spirits that are there. That one ghost that we talked to was really tortured and really wanted to help and wanted to be seen and wanted to be recognized. I think it's holding them there to feed off their energy.
Feeding off it.
And every time there's more people comes in, it's fresh energy. So again, it just kind of goes round in a cycle, and it feeds and feeds and feeds.
And if there's fear there as well, it'll feed off of that, because it uses your fear to.
Yeah.
I dare say if it was still open. Yep. I dare say if it was open now, there would still be more deaths and more suicides still happening, because pretty sure there was one recently after Elisa Lam, and then the place got shut down. So it would probably still happen again and again and again. So as you says earlier on, Patti, if it happens, if it opens up again, and I think they're trying to get it opened back up again, but if it does happen, then that cycle could just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. It doesn't matter how fancy you make the place look. And of course, renovations going. That's right.
If it leads people into like alcohol or bad drug use or being mean, it could keep happening. It probably would and will, again, unless we all go at once and try to just blow it up with light, with love. That is a nice thought, really, to be fair, because I think that place is lacking and love. That it's the land and not the building, just my opinion. I think it's both. I do think it's the land. Like I said, it went deep. So we would, if the building was raised, the building was blown up, you'd have to do the work on the land as well. But I do know that the building also is holding it because, spaces hold stuff like haunted objects, you walk into an antique store or a thrift store, you feel the life. This is an almost 100-year-old building that has seen tragedy after tragedy after tragedy and darkness building. It's like adding on. And much more, I talked to somebody there, and there are a lot more bad stuff than even publicized. A lot more people jumping out of windows, I guess. But if they jumped out the front window on the street, that would make the news because whatever, somebody fell on somebody. But if they jumped out the back window to the alley, that didn't necessarily make the news.
Oh, if they could keep it hush, then they did, basically. That's so
Cover
sad.
It up in a way as well.
These people are actually, and that's the sad part about the Cecil Hotel is the amount of people that have felt the need to take their own lives. I mean, then you get the evil side, obviously, the people that are wanting to do harm to other people, but it's the people that are feeling compelled to go and take their own lives when they're there. And that's how you know
it's what's drawing them to do that.
Yeah, because a desperation does take over you. A desperation and that no way out, whatever that is, whether it's jump out a window or that desperation takes over you. Donna, good question. Do you think the spirits are attracted more to high vibration energies or the lower ones? Really good question. I think they can see when a high vibration person comes in, and a light being, a enlightened person, a gifted person who can see them, they're going to feed on that. That's like a gourmet meal. Sometimes those high vibration people know how to handle them better. Most of us do. But I know before I go to a thing, the place will get more active because it knows I'm coming. And I'm sure 10 times over for Zach and the crew, they know he's coming. And they're going to feed off. It's like high quality vibration. But the low vibration people are easy pickings, low hanging fruit, whatever. The almost derelict person who he's hand to mouth at best, who has an alcohol problem, that's easy feeding, sadly.
So sad.
So I was reading up on the statistics of LA and how many people come through the train station per year and how many people stay at the Cecil Hotel per year, relating to the amount of instances of suicide in LA compared to 700 rooms in the Cecil. And he reckons over the years, it opened in 1919, I think, didn't it?
Something like that.
And he reckons that it should be about 93 deaths in there on average. He doesn't mention whether they're suicides, natural deaths, or anything like that. But when you look at the area, though, it's near Skid Row, isn't it? And it's, like you say, it's in downtown LA. Would those sort of people stay in that hotel, do you think? And does that make a difference to the amount of, the sort of people in there with problems, drug abuse?
Yeah, again, with more, whoever, I don't remember who did the statistics. I remember his name. But again, yes, people do go sometimes to hotels to kill themselves. They don't want to do it and make a mess in their own house. Sometimes people do. Things happen and fights, and of course, a derelict hotel for people with drug and alcohol problems and low rent is going to happen. But somebody did the statistics, and it's not what even for being a Skid Row derelict hotel, the statistics are still way too high that it should be. Way too high.
It's interesting when I started reading up on it because I thought, how many people kill themselves in other hotels It's something I'd like to look into. You know, over the time scale it's been open, does it relate to other hotels on an average, or is it higher?
It's higher. Yeah, on that particular hotel, it's higher. And I would bet you, if any ever wanted to, some statistics person wanted to go around to like areas, you know, whether high end or low end or doing both, where energies that are really good energy places, that there's lower than normal, maybe tragedies and suicides and murders, because we are affected by our environment.
Yeah, you probably
We're all affected by our environment.
That's right. And negative thoughts create negative actions.
Yep.
You know, so if they hear it and then they think it and then they find themselves in that situation sometimes as well. And then sadly, obviously, that's kind of the situation they find themselves in. You know.
Yeah, because if you're in some happy little hotel or motel, whether low end or high end, it makes you happy. It does. We're just like when we're walking down the street and you feel good in a place, feel bad in a place. But, you know, this is like the beacon of darkness.
So there were certain areas in the hotel which seemed to have more of a pull towards them, as in on the 10th floor, room 1016, which was Pigeon Goldie Olsen's room.
That's the one that I felt the most.
Is that the one?
That's Pigeon. She was the one who was raped and murdered. She lived there. She used to feed the birds every day. Sad, you know. And she was a
nice soul.
Yeah. And I felt her terror. And I can't escape. I can't, you know. Nah.
How can you unsee that? You know what I mean? It's not something that you can just unsee.
No.
No, I know we're here talking about Cecil Hotel. Oh, there's somebody got another question.
There's loads. You're very popular tonight, Patti. As always.
I'm an IT. Let me see. I see that
ITC researcher.
But only doing this a few years. Lately, doing spirit box session, I get drained and get a static feel on my hands, face, and feet. Do you think that spirit activity? Yeah. You're using spirit box. You're inviting in spirits. You're consciously, energetically, verbally, or not verbally. I want to talk to spirits. A spirit box is the modern version of a Ouija board. It just is. Whether you're using dowsing rods, whether you're using a pendulum, you are there to talk to spirits. Spirits are going to use your energy. Yeah, because that's their life force, so to speak. So do extra protection stuff. Put protection oils on your palms, on the soles of your feet, and more still importantly, at the base of your neck, that biggest thing. Do whatever works within your belief system, protection-wise, symbols, sigils, herbs, whatever, prayers, meditation, whatever works with you into your cosmology, your belief system. And they're still going to drain you.
They'll still find a way.
Yeah, but that's okay. You just don't have to take them home with you.
Wow. Room 712 seems to be quite significant as well. I'm not quite sure why, but a lot of people have stated that room 712 seems to be significant in the Cecil Hotel.
I don't know. Nobody know why it is. Whose room was it? I mean, it could. Again, I'm not good with numbers. I can't even tell you the numbers. I told them to. We're going here. I don't even remember what elevator buttons I pushed. Just that's not my consciousness. So I don't know what 712 was. So tell us, 712 person, what it is.
I'd like to find out myself.
Is there any more questions for chat, Sam? Since Sam's doing
Laura. She said that the first hotel near to her used to be a dust house, and it does have its fair share still.
I don't know what a DOS house is. Is that one of those?
It's a bit like the Cecil Hotel.
Oh, okay, like a lower, like a flop house. We would call it a flop house or whatever.
And was there anywhere nice in there?
In the lobby, the lobby was again, it was beautiful because it was built to be fancy. It was beautiful. The lobby was beautiful. And as far as somewhere you want to stay and hang out and sit and have lunch, no, I didn't feel anywhere that felt that was pretty and open and and you could see the beauty that they tried to put into it. And the stone is great because when you have real marble or granite, you're bringing nature in, which is really good. So that helps strengthen it. But, you know, I wouldn't want to live there.
No, I think if I was going to go, I would definitely stick to the lobby because that's where all the cameras was as well, you know. So, you know, if anything was going to happen to you, they would have it on film. So then whoever did it would be banged to rights and then there would be justice. I don't think I could go anywhere else up in that hotel room. I don't.
They're saying that room 712 was Jack Unterweger's room.
That's the other serial killer, yeah. And I do think he went there on purpose to imitate Richard Ramirez or whatever. So maybe
that's right. He thinks that's where
was the same room.
They think that's where Ramirez stayed.
Probably, but yeah.
That's it. 712 was Jack's.
Would you stay the night?
And of course, you were on to murder 3 people, didn't you?
I like a challenge, you guys. That's my gig. I like. The other 2 investigators that are drawn to 712 was a sketch. Oh yeah, they're my friends, Michael and Marty Perry. They're great. He's the medium, and she could draw stuff. I've worked with them several times. They're really sweet.
Yeah.
So it must have been Richard Ramirez rooms because I remember again seeing the airport. He's here. You caught him. So yeah, that room would probably have an insane energy. I remember them coming in and actually drawing and then sketching that. I did remember watching that. But for this man to come over and actually stay in the same room and then go on to commit a few more murders, and then he actually took his own life. This sorry, what's his name again? I keep getting this name mixed up.
Jack
Unterweger, that's right. And he got caught and he was charged. He was put inside, and then he took his own life. You know, so it just shows you how much coward he was. He did what he had to do, and then that was his goal to in effect imitate another serial killer. Yeah,
but he had been a serial killer. He had killed people before that. He had killed people in Europe, where he was from, Germany or wherever he was from. He had killed people, got out of jail, and came there. And they thought he was recuperated. They thought he was made good. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't go in that room. You can't go in that 700 rooms in 2 nights.
No, definitely not. So do you feel a pull yourself to go back? Or is it just mainly your...
No, I would love to go back. I would love to go back just, again, without having to have cameras and all that, just to feel it.
Yeah.
I like a challenge. That's my gig. I want to do something that's scary or hard or impossible, and I want to conquer it. I want to bring it good. That's why even those TV shows I do, like Master Chef and Wipeout and America's Got Talent, I do those because it's like my odds are horrible, so I'm going to do it. So it's the same way about, investigations. I've been talking to good spirits since I was 3 or 4 years old. And it's a good challenge to go see those scary ones.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. I know we've been talking about Cecil Hotel, but I keep looking around at Belle. I keep seeing Belle right behind you. Can you tell us a wee bit about her?
Isn't she pretty? That's my Belle.
She's lovely.
Come here, girl. Before we go, I know she's going. It's time for lunch.
It's so late here in Scotland and England. Hello,
she's
Belle.
See, now she's like,
and her rosy cheeks.
She's a good girl. She's got this brand new cloak. My friend, who's a very beautiful artist, made me this beautiful black lace cloak. She just made this for Belle. So we have matching cloaks.
Oh, fantastic.
Makes her very happy. She's got a good spirit, a little girl spirit, a little 7-8-year-old girl spirit. There was a dark spirit in her when I got her. The girl who sent her to me in Belgium, Belle had made her sick for like 3 years. And she saw me on Deadly Possessions, I think, doing a seance with Peggy the doll. And she figured if I could handle Peggy the doll, I could handle Belle. So she asked if she could send her to her. And I said, yes. So but Belle's a strong one. I did a Facebook Live to open her. I had never done a Facebook Live before, ever, not one. And I don't get that many people watching mine. I have a following, but 50,000 people watch me open up Belle on Facebook. I'd get like, 700, 300, up to 1,000, not 50,000. That was the spirit in Belle. And it was the dark spirit, but I wouldn't let the sun go down before I banished the dark spirit. And then slowly this good spirit eased out of what was hidden inside it. She's good. At first, she really drained people's energy too, horribly drained people's energy. But now she doesn't anymore. She's just a good girl. She likes the spotlight. She likes attention.
Sarah's saying that this is really interesting. And Laura Mill said, please tell me that was someone's child there.
My child.
Did anybody hear that? So did anybody hear like that little cry?
Oh no, I didn't. Did you all hear it?
Did you hear it, Forrest?
Yeah, I heard it. I thought that's why Shelly's gone, because she's gone to see the.
No, because Amelia's in her bed.
Oh, was that you, Belle? She's
it was like a childlike
lady's hair.
I see the noise. It was like a
Well, just as that happened, I said to Patti, maybe the doll is picking up on Patti's good energy rather than the dark energy that she must have been around before.
Yeah, no, she's totally good. There's a good little girl spirit in there, and people have heard her. We've picked it up on cameras and on recordings and stuff. So yeah, so I see. I'm just so used to her being a living being. I wouldn't even hear her say that. So that's good.
A few people have heard it. A few people in the chat have heard it as well.
See, like I said, she's a ham. She wants to take all the attention, always. My friend who was doing a photo shoot in front of my fireplace, I have this pretty fireplace, who was doing like her photo shoot and posing. Belle was back there where she was before. But like I said, Belle was different in every move. Belle was doing all the posing. And nobody touched her, nobody moved her. It was just Belle.
It sounded like a child trying to get attention.
And that's what would be Belle. Belle is a child who always wants attention.
It was kind of like a, hey!
Hi.
Are you okay?
Sorry about that, guys. My daughter woke up. Sorry about that.
So was it Amelia?
Yep, she woke up, so she's settled again. Just when I was enjoying.
Debunked.
Was that debunked? So was the cry before you left?
It was Amelia. Everybody thought it was a doll there.
Yeah, we thought it was Belle.
I should never have said anything, shouldn't I?
Honestly,
I should have kept that to myself.
It was just as Forrest was mentioning about like Patti's good energy, and this noise happened, and everybody's like, "Did anybody hear that?"
I love it. I love that. No, sadly, folks, it was my daughter.
Laura saying, "You."
That's good. We like
just getting technical timing.
See, we don't make things up. It's debunked.
All right, ladies. Well, Belle says it's time for her to have lunch and me to have lunch.
Yeah, we're just going to wrap it up now, Patti. So thanks once again for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
As always.
And Belle.
Anybody interested, sign up for my newsletter. I would love it. At pattinegri.com. It's my name, pattinegri.com. My social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like me, follow me, hang out if you like my silly stories. But you guys are wonderful. Thank you for what you guys do. Thank you for you do for our
Patti, you will be back on the 13th.
I will be back.
April, is that correct? With Charlotte?
Something like that. Yep, I think so.
Looking forward to that.
It'll be fun. All right, you guys.
Take care. Thank you,
everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
I'm going to do this. Bye.
Yay!